All right, welcome everyone to Monday Night Team Call. I'm Jamie Haskin, and joining me here tonight is Sue Yacht, Sally Boss, and Chris Rosenkrantz. And we are all your diamond uplines. Yeah, say hi, you guys. We are your diamond uplines in BU. And if you're new, then we are glad you're here and welcome. And we're excited just to talk to you guys tonight. It's going to be kind of a just fun, casual chat. We had gotten questions from you guys ahead of time, specifically from you. So we're going to be talking about those things. And just to kind of give you a little direction, they kind of all fit in 3 categories, which is really fun. So we're going to talk about balance and organization and just specific work type questions. We're also going to talk about self-development and personal growth journey. And then finally, we're going to talk about our vision and passing that along. So we have those kind of areas we're going to hone in on tonight. And some of the questions, you guys all brought amazing questions. So thank you for contributing to that. So feel free to comment as we talk along here, and we're going to get going. So first of all, some of the questions you guys brought in with just kind of basically work type questions with balance. What does that look like? Organization in the workplace. You guys asked, what does your day of work look like for you? Do you work on the weekends? And if you don't, do you still post? Like, what are the nitty gritties? What's the day look like when you were building your team and your kids were younger, or, in the beginning versus now? So, and even going into like time blocking and organizing your day and tools. So, who wants to start off kind of tackling some of those thoughts?
I can. Yeah, I have a few things written down. I feel like 5 years into this, 5.5 now for me, I should have this all figured out, but I'm still learning. And as I think we all are, how to balance this, right? And how to organize our days, because as you grow, as you rank up, it gets a little busier. But that's a good thing, right? So I was thinking about that, and the best tip for me, I think, that I can give for balancing, while you grow a larger team, is one word, and that's discipline. You have got to be disciplined in your work every day. And that's going to make a big, big difference for you and how you grow. For me, I had to find a certain time slot in the day that worked best for me. And I can be home. I don't work outside of Plexus, outside of my home. So for me, it's 10 to 2. Those are my working hours. And obviously I do at night sometimes. But 10 to 2 is when I do my best work. It's when I do my coaching calls. It's when I get my IPA done. And I can just mark it off. And so I think, obviously if you're working out of the home and you don't, you can't do 10 to 2 or whatever, find a time that works for you. If it means getting up at 5 a.m., get up at 5 a.m., be disciplined and do it. Get your work done. If it means staying up late, you're doing it 10 to 12 or 10 to 11, whatever works for you, but be disciplined about it. You guys don't skip it. Okay. And then obviously,
when you can I add with that, Sue? So when you do skip it, that's just a point right there that I think is really important, because you're creating more work and backpedaling when we skip things. So some days get hard and, I missed one day. And you know what? You let that slide once, you can let it slide again, and you can let it slide again. And then all of a sudden you put, a couple great months in, but now you have maybe a month or maybe a couple months with not so great work. And all that backpedaling and all that work that you just did, you're setting yourself back, right? And sometimes it takes, like, what is happening now is often the 3 months prior to now, what the activity that you did that you're reaping, right? So know that what you let slide now, like if it is a non-negotiable, you're going to get it done. But if you let it slide once, you can let it slide again. And that just comes back to self-discipline. Didn't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt you there.
No, that's good, James. And that kind of goes with what I was going to say. That word discipline is also, it needs to be consistent discipline. Like you said, Jamie, you can't skip days. You know what I mean? Yep. The weekends, Sundays is my boundary day. That's the day I take off for my family, for God. I don't do any plexus that day, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't post on my socials that day, and I don't feel guilty about it. That's my one day. Saturdays, it totally depends on what's going on, but I definitely do my IPA. I don't necessarily do it all, but yes, I definitely work Saturdays. And then backing up a little bit to the discipline thing too, is part of that, you guys, part of your work, part of this is getting on team call. Part of this is getting on book club. You have got to be disciplined. The four of us, we don't hardly miss ever a team call or a book club. And I firmly believe that is one of the most vital things that got us to Diamond, is that consistency on getting on those calls, getting in the book clubs, getting your face in a book. Okay. So yeah, is that good, Jamie? You want me to keep going?
Either way.
There's lots of questions here.
Yep.
For the organizational tools I use, I have been using Doe, and this is an app, and it's a IPA system, and I really love it. It helps me keep track. You can download every name from Facebook into that app, every name from Instagram, all your friends. And it helps me keep track of my cold prospects, my warm prospects, my new ambassadors. And so I know exactly who I need to follow up with every day. So I just log into that every day. That's been a huge help for me organizationally with growing my business. And
Do you other ladies have any tools you want to mention or add on?
Yeah, I would say I love Doe too. It's just so nice to be able to go one place, and you can set it for how many people you want to contact. So if you are going for a goal and you want to contact 10 people a day and follow up with 10, and you could do whatever. Or if you're just getting started and you know that your time is short and sweet, and you're working on getting into those habits, and you want to you're doing 3, 2, 1, you can put 2 and 1 in there, and so and then if you're having a really good day, you can do more and it'll load more, so, and there's like little streamers and things that go off when you complete your work, and
yeah.
And I have to say too, like, some people don't like that. People I have notebooks everywhere too, to be very honest. I am a list girl. I like to write things down. And so I do have notebooks that I like to put, if I'm working with 10 or 20 specific people that I've been following up with really consistently. I know we had other team members that talk about like their sticky notes, or they have their top 10 or 20 that they're working with in a month. Then I'm following up with them, so I do multiple different things, but I do love Doe because it just looks right in there.
Mm-hmm. I think the important thing is whatever system you use, like pick something and just try and stick to it. And you can try different tools, whatever works for you. In the beginning, I used paper and pen a lot, but that was one of the questions, like what changed for tools, or did tools change for you? For me, it did a little bit because I used paper and pen, but it just got to be where things were slipping through the cracks for me. So I like the Excel spreadsheet that's in the team page, but a lot of people aren't computer people or Excel people, but it's laid out there. And that to me, like, I have the visual and I can focus better that way. Some people use a planner and pop it out, days in advance. So whatever that is, just be very intentional, because otherwise things will slip through the cracks.
That's true. And it's funny because the other ladies touched on this a little bit too, but when I started, I used a card index. I got a little recipe box and I got my little
Mhm.
index cards and I wrote down everybody I
Yeah.
would sign up, the day they signed up, what they started on, when I followed up, and that lasted not very long because my team grew quite fast and I
Mhm.
just couldn't keep up with it anymore. And then, paper pencil was easier, and then dough came out and it was like a lifesaver for me. So that's totally what I use now too. So it really is what works for you, and it's going to change. It's probably going to change as your team grows and you
Mhm.
get more people, so just be flexible with it. But like
Mhm.
Jamie said, stick with what you're doing until you might need to think about a change to where you're at team wise. Um,
Mhm.
but what was the other thing I was going to talk about here? How do you unplug and stay rested and like weekends and stuff? I'm the same as Sue. I do some Saturdays. I do not do Sunday. That's a non-negotiable for me. Sometimes when the Sunday falls on the last day of the month,
We don't have a choice then.
you
We
might
gotta hit
have
rate.
to. But
Yeah.
pretty much Sunday is a no work day for me. And yeah, I do work some on Saturday, but less than I normally do Monday through Friday. But I still do my IPA, just like Sue said. But when I started getting a huge team, a way for me to get away from, because your phone is on you constantly. Okay. And the majority of the work that we do is on our phones, right? And you can't get away from it sometimes. And so I had to shut off my notifications for my Facebook. Otherwise, it would literally be dinging all day long. And I just had to do that for myself. That was the way I unplugged. And then when I was ready to sit down and answer my messages, then I would open the
Mhm.
messenger chat and sit down and answer those messages and get to them. So I time blocked those moments too when I had time, but then I wasn't opening my phone every time it dinged, because it can be a lot. So
Mhm.
so I think that's one way to just set hours and unplug a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Quick couple questions in here I think are really good. Well, one quick Excel. I don't use it on my phone. I use it on my computer, and then I'll keep lists in my phone sometimes. But there's a question. Do you change your hours when you're on vacation, and do you set certain hours to block for IPA? I think that is a really important question right now. I want to hear what you guys say too, but what sticks out to me, I will say this. When you are in momentum and when you have goals, sometimes taking a week off for vacation is going to be something that will impact your goals and your momentum. So I remember in the beginning, I'd go on vacation with friends and I would hop away from the campfire and get on book club. And, Tiffany and Fallon, I run the same, right? You still, you're at convention. Okay. You get back to your room and you get your IPA done, right? Convention was not a break from our work. And even vacation, you can fit things in or manage to do stuff. Now, yes, unplugging is important. Yes, having that time with family is important. I'm not saying work through all of that, but there are things we know that we can do IPA in very intentional, concise amounts of time, right? And we can still get that in even on vacation. If we plug away and just take, oh, I have a week vacation here and a week vacation there, and I'm at convention, so I'm not going to do anything, that is going to hurt your business. So there is a time and a place, if you, and in terms of, as Diamond, I will say, I think that's been something that I, go on vacation and I have intentionally unplugged for a couple of days, you know what I mean? But when we were in the thick of it, when we were in momentum, that was not happening. What do you want to add anything to that?
Yep, I totally agree. Sue and I just went to Florida. We took our girls to Florida a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of a chill vacation, but we did our IPA and we worked every single day. I got on team call or book club, whichever one it was book club. And we made a point of it. And so it doesn't take long to do it. You can still go on vacation and have a fabulous time with your family and see all the sights and the things. But it takes literally 30 minutes to plug out some IPA and answer a few questions. So I do think it's really important to do that. Now, I'm not saying if you go on vacation and you want to take the week off, yeah, you're the boss. That is your choice. But yeah, will it affect your team, momentum, all of that? Yes, it might. Unless you have, maybe some steps or some tools in place for it to keep moving, while you're on vacation and have your team take over or whatever. But I think it is important to try and get at least your IPA done when you're on vacation.
Yeah, and I think it's about being intentional of when. Like, get up early, get it done. 7 a.m., get your IPA knocked out. You can have the rest of the day with your family. So there are ways to get it done. If you're, like I said, disciplined. That word.
For sure.
I think, no,
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
well, I know we're all kind of, saying the same thing here, but I think it's really easy to be sitting, we go to Hawaii and we're sitting in our beach chairs, like sending messages or replying to messages or answering whatever, because I'm just sitting there, so it's like, like you can do that, but do it for like 15 minutes and then put your phone away. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, and that should be your IPA anytime. Like, how do you have balance or stay rested is I do the same thing. I shut my notifications off. It's the best thing you guys can do. You don't need your phone buzzing all the time. Nobody needs that. I like hardly anybody really texts me, although I have 4 sitting there waiting right now. I like, think my family's having like March Madness bracket conversation. I saw earlier, but that never happens. But I shut off. I remember I lost a potential share in my family because she heard my phone after I hit Emerald. She was like interested, and then she saw my phone buzzing on, and I had it on like the volume off because otherwise it would ding all the time. But she saw it buzz and she's like, nope, I can't do that. And I was like, dang it. But it catches your attention. You want to pick it up, shut that off. Okay. And you should do that anyway, because none of us need social media dinging us all the time. You don't need to be getting any messages or seeing the red bubble pop up on Facebook to see how many notifications you have. Nobody needs that. We all complain about all this social media stuff. Shut that off. You don't need that. Okay. And then when you sit down and do your intentional time, do it 30 minutes. And I always tell people, start with 30 minutes. Find 30 minutes in your day and spend 10, 10, 10. I don't count posting as an IPA, you guys, because I used to post in the parking lot, switching buildings while I was teaching. That's when I did my Plexus post at noon. That's when I did it. That did not count. I did not count that 30 seconds of me sending a post. My IPA is sending messages and checking on my people, so 10 minutes of talking to new people and building relationships and talking to new people, asking about Plexus, 10 minutes of following up with people you've already talked to, and then 10 minutes of following up with your current ambassadors, and then put your phone away. Okay. You can do that and you can build a solid team. Yeah. You might need to spend more time as you continue to build, but that's what we all did when we started. But you got to do it every day and then not make excuses, and if you didn't do it during the day when you thought you had time, then do 30 minutes before you go to bed at night. A lot of people work from their bed. A lot of diamonds work from their bed.
Me.
Val's inner bed.
No shame.
Totally. I'm
No
in my
shame.
bed. I'm in my bed right now.
I remember at night, I remember racing the clock. Like, I didn't get my last contact in, like 5 minutes before midnight. I'm trying to get it in because, just on it every time. So if you don't get it done.
I have one thing I wanted to add to quick, if you don't mind, Jane.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what Shelly wrote in the comments about sitting on a beach or on vacation or whatever. We can sit on a beach on vacation and do our job and residual income. Our kids are playing in the water, our husband's surfing or whatever, and we can work. That is just, it's so awesome to kind of flip it and think of it that way. That, it's like a mobile office. You can work from anywhere.
You get to do it.
One more thing that sparks this. Sorry, I thought of this too. I used to have second jobs, you guys. I worked in a coffee shop while I was teaching to earn extra cash and to get a social life because I didn't know anybody. But I left my house and I worked on weekends, and I did this all the way through being pregnant with Addie. Okay. I left my house on the weekends and at night, and I did that for extra cash. Then when I said goodbye to that, then I was asked to help scoop ice cream for and promote ice cream for a very popular ice cream company in West Michigan. It was very fun. I got free ice cream. It was wonderful. But I left my house all the time. And a lot of it was on Friday nights. And I didn't get home until 10 or 11 o'clock on a Friday night. Okay. So a lot of people work second jobs. A lot of people do to make ends meet, to have extra cash, to buy groceries. And this is a whole other second thing about getting towards the bottom. But I had to leave my house in order to have the extras, or even to just put gas in my car or go on vacation or to buy new clothes for my kids. I had to leave my house. I don't have to do that. I didn't have to do that. I could work from home, and I could do that while my babies are in bed. My husband's building something or fixing something in the barn, and I'm sitting in my house by myself. Guess what? I don't watch TV anymore. Like literally never watch TV. Okay. I don't have any binge shows that I binge watch or anything, and I don't miss it at all. I get to see all you beautiful people and have lots of fun conversations with wonderful people who fill my heart and my life, and I get to help people feel better. That is way better than binge watching some kind of TV series or something like that. So anyways,
Yeah.
but I used to leave for a job. This you can do from anywhere, from your couch, your bed, or a beach. It's amazing.
For
The
sure.
carpool line.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, waiting for your kids. I mean, shoot up a message here and there. It's just the best job ever.
Yeah. So one thing I want to mention, because there's a couple questions in this part, and then we can go on to a couple other things. And this call will probably go a little bit longer tonight, guys, but stick with us. It'll be fun. So in terms of the time blocking, and even speaking to those, this question was brought up with littles and even having them in the home and things like that. And time blocking with momentum. I want to combine this here. When I mean, just having littles and growing the beginning, sometimes it was, you got nap times, of course, you got before and after, whatever, but sometimes it's sitting down with your family and letting them know. And they can be very young and understand still, hey, mom's going to play with you right now. And then now 10 minutes or a half hour, I'm over here and I can't be interrupted. I'm going to work, but after that, we're going to do this, or before that, we're going to do this. So tell them what you're doing and line up those expectations for your family and your kids, and have this, like, bring them in on your goals and why you guys are doing this as a family, and you're dreaming together and you celebrate together your wins or your victories, and go out and celebrate with dinner, whatever it is. But if they understand what you're doing, and if they're too little to understand why yet, you can still time block, and that goes along with the balance and having rested in time with your family or yourself. Time block and have that, okay, we are having family time. That phone notifications are off. The phone is left in a different room. Don't bring it with you. Go outside without your phone, go in a different room with your kids without your phone, play with them for a certain amount of time, but then tell them, okay, now I need, you can't interrupt me. 30 minutes, I'm working. You guys have to do this and play by yourself. So try and set up those expectations, and that holds yourself accountable as well. If you tell your kids, hey, in 30 minutes, we're going to do this, that kind of, hopefully holds you accountable to having that intentional time as well. And then when momentum happens, I remember hearing this too from probably Fallon, I don't remember. But when momentum is going on, sometimes that looks different on what you time block. So if things feel crazy, if you feel like you just can't keep up and things are busy, that's exciting. There's a lot going on, and it's okay to feel like you're drowning. Run with it, go with it. And sometimes those are the moments you have to time block in time with your family or time with yourself. And you just spend a lot of extra time on work, right? You're just running as fast as you can. But when things are quieter and maybe momentum isn't as strong, then maybe you have to time block in and be intentional about your work, right? You have to make sure you get that time in. So sometimes it varies what you have to time block, because you are spending more time on one or the other depending on your season. So I thought that was very helpful when we heard that a while ago as well. All right, ladies, should we move to kind of the next topic here? We got questions on self-development and personal growth journey. And some of those questions were like, what has been your favorite self-growth book and why? How have you implemented it into your business? Anyone want to answer that question? We'll kind of break these down individually. Sal.
I do. Yes, I really want to speak on this and talk to this because the first question kind of goes into the second one. So James just said, what has been your favorite self-growth book and why? And I have several, because we've done, I've done a lot of book clubs over the last 5 years, and we've read a lot of books, and some of them we've read twice, which is really smart to do, because you're going to read a book in one season and then you'll read it in another season, and it's going to affect you in a totally different way. But read a lot of growth books over the 5 years, and then how have I implemented them into my business? And then it goes with this one too. Tell us about a time when you wanted to throw in the towel, but you didn't, and what got you through. Okay, so I'm going to talk about kind of those in a minute. Well, my first couple like personal growth books, we've done so many, but we just recently did Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen, and that was a perfect time for me to read that book. I read it twice, but that one was really good for my mindset, and coming from a biblical standpoint, it helped me with a lot of mental stuff. And I just really, really recommend it. The other one, network marketing book, is Rami Newstead's Get Over Your Beep Self. That's a really good one too. It's a swear word. And that's a really good one for getting over yourself, like in the network marketing world, conquering fears, just doing it. It's really good. But I also love, we've never done this one as a book club, but I read it on my own 2 times, and it's by Bob Goff. I don't know if you guys know who Bob Goff is, but I love him. And it's called Love Does. And I have like the whole book highlighted. It's so good. And that one really helped me think about outwardly value, loving people where they're at, that kind of thing. But the one that really, really made a difference is John Maxwell's 21 Laws. And we read John Maxwell all the time. He's an amazing author, especially for, kind of the business we're in with leadership and stuff. And so 21 Laws, and there's a section in there, and this was very early on in my business. I think I maybe was gold when we did it the first time. I don't know, but he had you write down, and it was an exercise. I'm pretty sure it was this book. Watch me be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was an exercise of your vision, kind of your dreams and your vision, and what you saw when you reached your goal. What would you have overcome and achieved, and all of that, and to get up and read that every single morning for 21 days or whatever. And so I did that. I sat down with a notebook. I wrote down everything, and it was, how your why should make you cry. I was crying. It was emotional because we were in such a terrible place financially, and it was such a burden that I just could imagine us not having that heavy burden anymore. And so that is what I wrote down. And I wrote down several other things too, but I read them every morning for 21 days. And when I hit Diamond, I implemented the book or whatever, the action, everything. And when I hit Diamond, that list, you guys, it was amazing. A lot of it was checked off. A lot of those things I had achieved and seen my dream come true. Drowning in financial strain, that was no longer an issue. Not being able to pay for my kids' Christian education. Yep, we could pay for it all. We still do. So many other things. We wanted land with a bigger house. That's where we are now. Being able to give more, support more, an orphanage church in Guatemala that we support. So many things, you guys. And I just, writing it down, doing what the book told me to do, taking action, having a good mindset, and just implementing all of that into my business, and then seeing that come. Well, there was a time soon after this that Sue and I, in our little community here in Jamie, we kind of got under attack, those Plexus people. Social media, it was really hard. We were a very close-knit community, and especially me got kind of attacked on social media, on Facebook, regarding Plexus and what I was doing. And I remember, I think it was, I was gold, I'm pretty sure, maybe close to senior gold, but it was pretty early on. But it was really hard. And remember, I hadn't had any of this personal growth, like read many of these books except for that John Maxwell one. So I wasn't at a mature like mindset place then as I am now, but I had written down those things and I had such vision and I believed so strong and so much that I was going to be a diamond. One of those things was I would be a diamond and I would walk across that stage. And I believed it with every ounce of my being. I can't explain it to you, but I just believed it. And I knew it was going to happen. And that kept me from quitting. When that girl run my name through the dirt and everybody was making fun of us and we were the eye roll of the community or whatever, I could have thrown in the towel and I could have said, I'm done. This is embarrassing. I can't do this anymore. It's fear of man, whatever. I could have said, I'm done, but I didn't, because I had those things written down and I knew God had bigger plans for me and I knew those things would come true because I believed, and it did. It happened. So that I think you have to remember you're going to come across hard stuff in this business. Do not quit. Okay. There's a reason you're here on this path. If I would have quit and said, no, I'm not doing this anymore because of what she said on Facebook, can you imagine? I mean, no. So yeah, just don't let things like that stop you, and really put into play and effect the book, like the books that we read them for a reason, and we read them for you to take action and do all the things with them because it really makes a difference. So yeah.
Sal, goodness, girl. And not only like if that would have held you back and your family back from where you are now, I mean, that's one side of the coin. But
Absolutely.
the other side of the coin is how many people have said yes to Plexus and had their health changed and finances changed and all the things because you didn't stop, because you didn't let that get to you, because those people weren't the most important thing, right? They don't make that paycheck. They weren't the most important thing. And all those lives have been impacted because of that. You guys, these things are important. And that's why we, do the personal growth and we link arms together and we talk together and we don't give up, because our decisions don't just impact us. They impact how many people that are going to be impacted because of you, because you stuck through and did the hard things.
Yep.
Girl. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thanks for making us all cry, Sally.
Right? I know.
Those are getting red. Glasses on.
God is very faithful, Kristen. Yes, so faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing too. I gave my business to him. I just did. I kept saying, Lord, if you want me to keep doing this, I will keep doing this. And he made it so clear I was supposed to keep doing it. And so that's who I work for, you guys, an audience of one, not those people on Facebook that make fun of me. I'm not doing that for them or anybody else. It's got to be for the Lord. So
they just don't know yet. And that they don't know yet.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing is, that's why this is so important to be here and on book club, you guys. I was one of those people that said no. I was too busy at first. You know, I did not think, I remember I was too busy for IPA chats, accountability chats. And I think I went and won and then I took myself out like in the first month. And the first month, I admit it, but I haven't done that since. So I did not book club and I didn't do team calls because I thought I was so busy. I don't know what I was doing. I know I was doing IPA because I was talking to people when I was posting, Kay's one. Maybe I was on a book club night that I was talking to Kay. That was a long phone conversation one night, I remember. And Janelle, we had a really long phone conversation. So like Sarah, I remember talking multiple times. So like but you have to get on these because this is where the belief is built.
Yes.
You know, like Monday nights and Thursday nights, reading the books, you guys, these books are amazing. And I say it every single time. I wish I had read these books when I was teaching.
Oh, me too.
Changed me as an adult, like 20 years ago. Like these are life-changing books that we all say too, like we're reading The Slight Edge right now. It's not too late to get on Thursday nights. 30, and yeah, sometimes we get long-winded, goes a little bit longer. I don't know if you heard me say I love you to my 16-year-old that just went to bed. They know it's Monday night is team call and Thursday night is book club night.
Yep.
And they come in and you'll see them give me a hug and they go to bed. And I know when you have littles, I get it, but like my 10-year-old is a mama's boy, and he for the longest time was like, oh, mom, put me to bed, and he'd be all weepy and stuff. I'm like, I put you to bed 5 or 6 nights a week, like your dad can do that. That's good for him.
Yeah.
Daddy can do that. Like it's okay for you to like do something that's going to feed your soul. Cause I'm telling you, these books are going to bless your business and they're going to build belief in what we're doing here, but it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
so many other areas of your life as well. It's going to it's going to take away your fear of man. It's going to build your belief and help you be confident and strong and so many other things, to be able to fight back because there's going to be adversity. There always is. And we got to be able to stand up to that stuff. So pour into yourself. It's so important.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you regret anything about your journey, or is there anything you would do differently? Did anyone have something in mind for that?
I just have one little thing. I don't want to keep taking the floor here, but I do have something here. You know what I regret big time looking back now when I started is not talking to people about the business right away. We were product focused a lot because we were sharing testimonies that back when it was compliant to share all the stuff, we were product focused a lot. And we didn't always, shoot for the business right away, but I regret that. I regret not sharing the opportunity right away with people or being afraid of talking about that. Because I kind of had, people were making fun of me. So I'm like, well, I don't dare share that with anybody else. If people are making fun, but it's like, oh, I wish so much that I would have started that right away. That's one regret that I could think of.
I mean, if I could look back, I'm like, sure, I would say like, I wish I would have coached more intentionally and been more confident in my leading, or done things as a leader like differently, or had those skills at the time, but I couldn't have, right? I wasn't there. So I don't regret like specifically anything. That's a good point, Sal, but I don't regret specifically anything on that level that came to mind for me, because everything I did shaped who I then became as a leader, right? And I was not someone that came in thinking I was a leader or would be a leader or could be a leader or whatever this like title sometimes get, like that can be intimidating for some people. It was intimidating for me. But it was doing those things that, that shaped that the whole journey shaped to who I am now. And I've learned and grown through things. And it took doing things, even though I was super self-conscious about doing my first coaching call. And I was extremely self-conscious about doing a first team call, or, whatever it was, even unmuting and talking on book club, or, things that gave me like, just made me nervous, or I didn't feel like I had the best thing to say or whatever it was. But it took doing those things because it grew me into the leader that I am now. And you learn through it. And I mean, I'm still constantly learning as we go. So, sure, it would be great to have had those skills right off the bat, but that wasn't my journey. And I think that's for all of us.
So
I mean,
true.
everything along our path is what shapes us, but it takes being intentional and doing those things, right? It takes getting on, showing up, doing the things anyway, pushing through, knowing we can do the hard things, because that is what is going to shape you into who you need to be, so that you can help other people do the same thing, right? Because you're going to have people that walk some of those same paths that you have walked, and you're going to be able to help them through that too.
Exactly. I can tell you what I don't regret, and Chris will totally agree with me on this, is the first time Fallon Black, like, I mean, Chris and I flew through the ranks really fast. And, maybe a lot of you guys don't know this, but we double ranked back-to-back months, Ruby and Senior Ruby, and went really fast. And then we got asked to do a team call together. Fallon like messaged us and said, could you and Chris lead a team call? We were like, what?
Why?
Oh my word. Us?
Yeah.
And then Chris and I are like, okay, sure. And then we're talking and planning the team call. And we're like, what did we even do to get here? We don't even know what to say. Like it just, but that's one thing, you know, I could have said no so fast because I was so nervous, and Chris was too. And we were like, no way. And we aren't really any special, you know, it's nothing big deal or whatever, but we said yes and we did it. And that was the first team call we ever led. And I can tell you what, everyone since then has gotten 10 times easier to lead. So no regrets there. I think we could probably, all four of us could probably say we have, you know, no regrets versus regrets, you know, no regrets doing that kind of stuff at all.
And I'm going to say too, and this was maybe going in a different direction, but I just know that we're not perfect, you guys. We make mistakes. I've had to say I'm sorry. I've had to like apologize. I've, you know, like, yeah, fallen back in IPA and check-ins and gotten behind, you know, or whatnot, checking on my current people. And we're not perfect. You know, we've all lost people to the products too, or the business or whatever. You know what we just don't do? We don't wallow in it. There and, you know, boo-hoo over every person that quits. There's a reason. It may or may not because I made a mistake. I learned from it and you keep going, you know? And so that's, I just got to tell you that, like, you know, we're not perfect. Just because, you know, you hit diamond does not mean that your road wasn't bumpy and that you didn't make some mistakes along the way, you know?
Yeah.
Journey is there because it's there and we've grown along with everybody else, you know? So there's plenty.
We've gotten here because we've failed. We've failed and failed and failed again. And that's how we're here, you know? Yeah. Such a good point, Chris.
We just can't quit. You're only done if you quit, you know, like everybody's journey and road is different, you know, everybody's path is different. Just don't quit.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I know it's getting late, guys, but we do have a few more questions that I think are really good. So if you are open to sticking with us, we're gonna end it on questions about kind of our vision and passing that along. So let's see. Anything like diamond wise, you guys, this question was brought up in terms of either something you're able to enjoy now that you couldn't before because of time, money, resources. And even with that, is there something that you've treated to yourself as a diamond that you never imagined splurging on before? Kind of a fun question.
Monthly massages.
I love it.
I love it too.
Self-care, baby. Self-care.
That's my treat. That's my treat. It helps me relax. I hold all my tension here. It's
Good for you.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to talk me into going every month, and I'm like, I have to do that. I really should, because I'm jealous. Every time she's like, I'm going for my monthly massage, I'm like, I have to schedule that.
No, that's one thing I never was able to do, you know, but it's part of how you unplug, you unwind, you take some time for yourself, and I just lay there and I talk to God, and it's a good hour, 90 minutes. I go for 90 minutes.
The truth
Is it really a
comes
massage if you don't go for 90 minutes?
I love it. That's right. Yes.
Yes, Candace. Tell her, Candace. Tell her.
I know.
What about
Okay,
you guys? Chris, Sal, Jamie, what do you guys do?
We like to go out to eat to different restaurants and stuff, but we just never really did that a lot, you know, because the money wasn't there. And so we love going out to eat. And, you know, maybe, you know, to be honest, you guys, I enjoy buying my kids a pair of Nike shoes that they really want. I was never able to do that ever. I'd get hand-me-downs, I'd get used stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. You do what you got to do, you know, but that was just cool to be able to do that. And it's not all about material things, but it's just when you know where your money is coming from, I have so many stories I could tell. Oh my gosh, you guys, I could just talk about this all night. But when you know where your money's coming from, and that's from the Lord, then you know where you've got to put it to bless the Lord and to further his kingdom, right? And so that's what we did. And he started reaping, pouring down the blessings on my business when we started doing that. And so ways that, I could, do that with my kids. I mean, good grief. I got an air fryer for my birthday just in January, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. And my mom and dad don't have one. And so I went to Walmart and I bought them an air fryer and brought it over with a whole bunch of food and said, here's your supper tonight. Here's an air fryer. Go ahead and make your supper. And it was so fun to be able to go do that. I didn't have to think about the money, and it was just such a cool thing to be able to bless my parents that way, and just others, the giving part of it. Oh, I just can't even, because when we were so poor and like, in financial strain and stuff, so many people in our community, including my sister, and her husband and our church, and just came around us and helped us out with new tires for our car, and oh gosh, you guys, food and just all sorts of stuff. And now I'm able to do that for other people who are in need like I was, and I just love how God is just showing and revealing himself to me in that way. So, but one thing, I'll quit talking. We always wanted a side-by-side Can-Am, like a Ranger. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like a 6-seater Ranger or whatever. Something our family has always wanted. And we live in the country, we own 20 acres, side roads, dirt roads everywhere, just love to tootle around on those things, and that is what, when I hit Diamond, our family decided was going to be our Diamond gift to our family. It was to buy one of those. And so we bought one of those, a $22,000 one, and it's completely paid off. I mean, we don't owe anything on it. And that was a treat for our family when I hit Diamond, to be able to use, because we're constantly outside all summer long. And Eric uses it for work and for hunting and planting his food plots and all sorts of things. And Raina, the dog, loves to ride around in it and everything. So it's family thing, but that was something that we could really just splurge on for our family. And for the hard work we all did together, all 5 of us worked really hard for me to get to Diamond. And that was a special treat for our family to be able to do. So.
Love that. All right, let's move on to some more questions so we can finish these last ones. How do you, in terms of getting people to share, so we're going to move to kind of like the vision side of this. So getting people to share right away, casting vision about, the business when someone joins, or even like getting them to shift from, products covered mentality to being all in. I don't know if anybody has thoughts. I can share some thoughts too, but so I'll quick start, I guess, with that. First of all, I think it's important. So the question on how do you get someone to share right away? We have, I guess my question back to you for all you guys, how do you get someone to try your products, right? How do we get someone to try Plexus? So we have 2 things to offer here. And I think that so much gets underrepresented, right? We highlight the product so easy, and that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what we're offering people. But are we offering the business? So we have 2 things to offer, and it's as simple as that. So are we talking about it? Are we opening our mouth, right? And a lot of that starts before they even join. So if we're talking about the products to somebody, we should also be talking about the business, the fact that they can make money, because that's 2 sides to the coin here. And why would we not share what they're getting into or what is possible? So being confident in that, being excited about that, excitement goes a long way. We did not know anything when we started, like nothing at all. So it was like, I remember trying to memorize blood sugar balance, gut health, and inflammation. Those 3 words, that was it. And I remember we had very limited videos. So there was a triplex video, and I probably watched it 50 times because I do not retain like health knowledge information well. So like I was just trying to get the verbiage down for how, I don't even know who it was. I can't remember her name right now, for how she was wording it. And I was wanted to like, okay, if I can get down what she's saying, then I can say that to someone else. You guys, it's not even, I'm going to talk about that in a second, um, but it was just, we were excited. How did I get in that rabbit trail? I didn't know what I was saying, but we were excited in the beginning. We didn't know anything. That's what I was saying. We didn't know anything, but our excitement was contagious, right? We had products that work. We had testimonies. Hey, if it helped this person, it can help you. You should try it. Oh, let's get some more information to you. And guess what? I'm sharing. We can make some extra money with this. You should share like I am, like it was just part of the language, and excitement goes a long way. You don't have to be the expert. You don't have to be a diamond. You can be straight up starting off and have the excitement and the boldness and the vision, what Sal was talking about earlier, with just knowing, knowing I'm going to be the top. I'm going to the top, and you can come with me, and you can have that confidence wherever you are. So talk to people about that. It's as simple as that. And I think so many times it holds us back with the insecurities. And I hear you, because it did for me. I remember being in person, in the line at the grocery store, talking to the cashier, and for the love, I was probably mumbling and hardly talking because I was trying to talk to her about Plexus and the products, but I was so embarrassed and nervous that I probably wasn't smiling. I was probably trying to get through as fast as I could, and I was mumbling, like freaking embarrassing probably, but I did it, right? So
I love it. That's epic.
If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yes.
But if you start
Yes.
talking about it, it's going to get better. If you practice what you're going to say, just be excited and smile. It doesn't have to be the perfect thing. So anyway, that's how you talk to people and just get them to share. It's not I don't think it's some science. I don't think there's like a perfect thing you can say. You just got to start the conversation. Use your upline, get on a 3-way chat, 3-way call if you want. But be bold and talk about where you're going and where they can go to. Ask them questions, Anyway, anybody else want to add anything?
I think just keep asking. Like, just because they say no the first time doesn't mean that they're not going to eventually want to try. I mean, there's so many people here. Like, every single one of my shares did not want the business. Every single one of them, except for Sarah. Sarah was interested, but like nobody wanted the business, like seriously. And we had many conversations like, don't ask me to do this part, but I helped people love the products and gave them that opportunity. Like their life was so changed that they couldn't not share. And that's what happened. It turned into an opportunity. So that just is a plug for following up with people and helping people tax and love the products. Yeah. Janelle, when you and so, you know what, I respected her and I didn't, but then when she started messaging me and saying, hey, I have this friend, and then I was like, oh, I'll talk to your friend. And I'll tell you this right now, you guys, I think I just saw somebody say like, gathering all the information and all of that. You don't need to know anything. None of us knew anything. We didn't have videos. We didn't know anything. I Googled everything. There was one like PDF Word doc in Pink Power that I wrote because I didn't like some of the info, and I printed it off. I didn't know anything. And I told people that. Like literally every conversation I had, people were always saying, you guys all have it too. People say, well, will it help me with this? Will it help me with this? I didn't know. And so you know what? I told them that. I just said, you know what? I'm not sure, but let me look some stuff up. And then I got to be best friends with Google, and I learned how to not read all the junk. And, you have to make sure you can sift through the messy, silly stuff that wants to sell you their probiotic, but you need to read articles and search. And so that's what I did. I did not know anything at all. And right now, you guys, 5 years later, I'm literally saying the exact same things now that I did back when I finally memorized things that Sal was saying in my chats to me, to my people. Not kidding. Use your chats. Here's another little shameless plug. Use your to help people, because if you're new, you don't know anything yet. we didn't either. And that's where Sal was the one that was explaining a ton of stuff. And I'm having some new shares now too, go like, I'm just loving listening to your voice messages. I'm learning so much. I'm literally saying the exact same thing that I've been saying for 5 years. Nothing has changed, so it's, you
The
don't
nice
have
thing now, we don't have like what we did then. We have systems in place that we didn't have then now. So the team page, go to the units, well, guides right now. It's called.
Guys, yep.
Go through that. And if you have not have a check under every single thing in that unit, please go through that and work through that yourself. I don't care what rank you are. Every single person on this call, go through and make sure everything is checked, that you have done it all. So you know what's there and you've actually watched the videos. I don't care if you watched it 3 years ago, watch it again. And you're familiar with what is there, so you can use that. And that is there to make things simple, right? So we don't have to be like, okay, yeah, where's all this information? I mean, it breaks it down so simple. And that breaks down that, hour or whatever it took you before maybe to do something. And okay, here's my concise information that I do on repeat, like Chris said. And it's all very, very simple. And that's how we can onboard people simply, everything else. So use those systems in place there. Last question here to want to quick add in terms of getting the whole products cover to kind of going all in. I like to get on the phone. If you got someone that you really want to be all in, that you think would be amazing, get on the phone and talk to them. Use your upline, do a three-way call. It's as simple as, sharing your story a little bit and then asking, tell me more about you. A lot of times, if you just listen, they're going to give you some pain points. If you can discover, some pain points where they need more money or they're, busy or they wish they could do this or that, ask them questions. Ask them if time and money were no object, how would life look differently for you? Share why you would think they would be amazing. What qualities do they have? What kind of person are they? What skills do they have? Like, tell them the things that you see in them, and just cast that big vision. But getting on the phone, you might discover way more than you ever can in a chat. You might think in a chat, they want to share, maybe get their products paid for. You get on the phone and start asking these questions. You might find out, yes, they want to go to Diamond. Yes, they really desperately need this business, but you can't figure out those things if you don't have a real live conversation with someone. Social media is amazing, but those conversations are so important. So get on the phones with those things. Ladies, anything else on that topic in general? Otherwise, we can wrap it up a bit. I know we kind of connected on a few things, you guys, tonight in all of these sections. All of them connect to, I know we kind of ran this one a few times, team calls, the book clubs, please get on. In-person events, you guys, showing up to these things are so important. They're important for your business when it comes to what you're time blocking in, what you're setting as priorities, how you are, what was that middle thing? Your personal growth, right? And then casting the vision. If your people are plugged into all these things, you're not having to do all the vision casting yourself because they're in the team calls, right? If you are showing up to in-person events, leaders are born at events. That's a phrase that we've heard from day one, and it still is being repeated today, is because it matters. So in-person events, and get your people there, get there for yourself, get there for your people. If you don't have people yet, that's okay. You're going to get there and you're going to bring people with you next time. So show up at events, gather, get in person, get on these calls, get plugged in, because it 100% matters, not only for the people under you, right? It matters for you. So first it starts with you, right? It starts with us every single stinking time. But then your people are going to follow suit. But you can't bring people along with you if you're not showing up yourself first. So thank you all for hopping on. Anybody else? Any of you lovely diamonds want to conclude with anything else?
I just want to say thanks, you guys, for sticking with us for an hour here. We really didn't, we thought it would go over a little bit, but I don't think we thought it would go over an hour or a half hour. But thank you guys for being on and joining us. And we just love to talk about our journeys. And if you have any other questions, we're always here to help. And share vision with you and love on you and pray over
Mhm.
you. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. And
Yeah.
we just love y'all. We believe in you all, and
Mhm.
just so blessed to have you all on our team. You guys all have such amazing value to add, and we're so grateful for each of you. So thank
Mhm.
you for being on tonight.
Yep. Yep. Thanks for the good questions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Bye,
See ya.
everybody.
Bye.